Gwen, you've been sitting much too long, much too long. Welcome, 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 welcome to Truth, a radio program designed with you in mind, a program whose sole purpose is to empower you, our listeners, for information leads to knowledge, and knowledge is, you got it, power. And as always, I want to empower you to take control of your life, those things that impact you, your family, and your community. As always, too, I want you to go to the website, www.gwen-truth.com, so you can access all of that all-important information via the all-important links. Welcome, welcome to Truth. We have a powerful program for you tonight for all of you who are either in business, desirous of going into business, or just been thinking about it. You know, it's a part of your dream for your future and for your current situation as well. I've always said for people who are unemployed, underemployed, especially when you're unemployed, that may not be such a bad thing, because it may be the perfect time for you to put your dreams into action. And one of those things that you've probably been thinking about is going into business for yourself. And we have tonight a couple of individuals, one in particular, the other's been here several times, so we're going to concentrate on them. But a couple of individuals who are entrepreneurs who started in business, you know, had a dream, and just went to work on it. And then with God's help, I'm sure they will agree, with God's help, they were able to actually see those dreams come to fruition. So we're going to kind of give you guys a little heads up tonight about running your own business, getting started, but also a hopefully inspiration to just go ahead and go for it. Just go ahead and go for it. My guests tonight are Nathaniel Anthony, who is the owner of the Blvd restaurant on South Martin Luther King Boulevard, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And we have also Tawana Anthony, who is here as well, who is a part of that business operation and ownership. And we have our regular, almost, our psychologist friend, Vanessa Harvey-Lents, who is here. And we know that she started her business too very successfully, has sold a business, and now she's back into other business as well. So, you know, once you get a taste for it, you kind of keep going. Especially if you got kids that you're going to, you know, in school, and you're going to send them off to college and all that good stuff. Even if they get a free ride, it's good to at least be able to help them out if and when needed. So, we want to get started tonight. And again, shout out to all of our listeners. Shout out and prayers for this country of ours that is in much need of prayer. I need not say more, I'm sure. And we pray for our president, because as goes our president, goes the nation. And we have to support our president. You know, when the president was Bush, I may not have liked things that were done, but he was our president. And a person is deserving of the respect that goes with the title. Okay? Praise God. Amen. All right. So at this time, I want to ask Mr. Nathaniel Anthony if he would start off by sharing some information with our listeners about himself, so that you know that, you know, sometimes, and I was thinking about this, Nathaniel, if I can call you Nathaniel. My husband hates it when you refer to somebody as first names, but, you know, hey, we're casual here. We're kind of gonna talk to people on a much more casual and conversational basis. But I was thinking about starting business, getting into business, and how people many times feel that, you know, yeah, that person did it, but I can't. That person did it, but not me. No, not me. I just can't do it. Tell us a little bit about you that actually lends itself to you knowing that there was a talent that you had, or a love that you had for something, and, you know, you really wanted to see that kind of utilized and shared with others.
First,
Yes.
I'd like to give thanks to God and my wife for my support, and also for you and Vanessa for allowing me to be here. Basically, the experience that I've gained, it's something you gotta have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, people need to know within themselves that they can do it, and you can't be afraid. I heard a saying that says the only way you fail is by trying to do something. If you never try to do anything, then you never fail.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability to me is, if someone else can do it, I can do it. And I've just had that instinctiveness about myself to always want to be self-employed. So the experience that I gained by working at Vince Carter's and other adventures that I've undertaken has given me the assurance of what it takes to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
And experience, you know, you're going to fail, but you can't be afraid to keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that happened was I went back to school.
Mm-hmm.
I went back to college. I got my degree in 2009. And one of the reasons that I went back to college was so that I would have a better understanding of how to run a business.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not as simple as we think. You have the IRS, you have taxes, you have to know inventory for what we do.
Yes.
But there are a lot of things that it takes to be successful in a business, rather than just going down to the city, getting a license. You have your IRS, you have your workman comp. You know, there's a lot of things that you have to do. So with that knowledge, I felt comfortable with going back into another adventure. And I feel, you know, with God's blessing, you know, it says when two or more come together.
Yeah.
And there's 4 of us right now, but there are a lot more people that have come together and have given us the blessing and the assurance that this is what God has in store for us.
And what did you think when he went into this, Tawana?
I wasn't surprised. I've always told Nathaniel that it just seems like he has to be one of the blessed people that I know. It seems like blessings just fall in his lap, just as with the opportunity with this restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned that you used to be a cook at Vince Carter's, and
Excuse me. I was not a cook at Vince Carter.
you were a chef.
No. What the paper said.
Yeah, because I was going to
Right,
refer to that article.
Right. It said Vince Carter's chef owns Blvd too. But if you read on the next paragraph, the opening paragraph says I was a manager. I was actually one of the opening front of the house managers at Vince Carter's from ground up. So everything that you see there, I had a part in. As a group, there were 8 managers. We came in. John Tinsman, who was the proprietor at Carrabba's, hired me. Charles Mallory came in at the time that I was graduating from Cookman, and Michelle Carter-Scott, I thank her for the opportunity, was looking for some Cookman graduates to run the business, and I just happened to be the one that fitted the shoe. So at that point, I moved out of my comfort zone. I worked always in the back of the house, and so I decided to move into the front of the house. Some of the experience that I had was we started a Cub Cafe at Cookman. We also started a catering at Cookman, which became part of the curriculum at Cookman.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I did bring some expertise with me on being a chef. I worked for Red Lobster for 7 years, IHOP. So I've always done the cooking, even though my wife didn't like it. And now she finds out.
Now
Yeah,
the truth comes
right.
out.
Now she finds out that people like my cooking.
Listen, I hope our listeners are understanding this.
But,
Yes.
as front of the house manager, it just gave me an insight really on how to run an operation. And sometimes in order to really understand where we are and what we're comfortable with, we have to get outside of our comfort zone.
Yes, absolutely.
And that, because hospitality is dealing with people. But if I'm in the kitchen, I'm dealing with them based upon how they like my food. If I'm in the front of the house, I'm dealing with them on the total concept of the restaurant. You know, the ambiance. Was the server polite? Was the food tasty? Was it on time? Was the bathroom clean? So those type of things gave me a better understanding of how to run a restaurant.
Right.
And that's what I took from being at Vince Carter's. But the ability to cook, I've always had, and the love for food, I've always had. So what this happened, it was a blessing, you know, and I thank Gerald Chester for allowing me to move into a position that was open when he could have said no. I give my pastor, Reverend Victor Gooding, thanks, because he's the one that actually interceded for us in order to get the restaurant. Because at that point, we had no idea that we would be going into the restaurant business. She was working and I was working, but my pastor, through God, knew Chester and knew that building was available. So, you know, pray on it, and then they finally gave us a call, and we've stepped into it. The Daytona Times article gave us a great boost.
Yes, great article.
Right, thank you. And I'm grateful for today to give us another boost. You know, so there's a lot of things that are playing into what it takes to run a business. You know, some of it is luck. People have to love your food. You have to love what you do. Then you have to be willing to work endlessly in it. That, you know, it's 7 in the morning till 9 at night, and then you're up at 6:30 or 5:30, and you're back at it. Because if that's what you love to do, then your mind never goes to sleep on what you love to do. Right. So even if you're in the shower, you're driving down the street, whatever you're doing, it's all
that's
about
what you're thinking.
All the time, 24/7.
And that's truly what it takes. You know, that's what when they say passion, and you're passionate about something, that's really what they mean. You really are. You eat, drink, sleep it continually. And I'm sure sometimes it's good if you've got a mate that shares that dream, because otherwise, you know, they'd be saying, "Oh, he's always doing that. That's always never paying attention to me," type thing. So it's great to have that support, and you really do need that support along the way. But God orders the steps of good men, you know. And so as all these things have played out and kind of fallen into place, you know that it's about, you know, God. And he's the one that's kind of doing that. So you never forget, no matter how far you go, you never forget that he was the one that played an integral role in all of that. And you mentioned your pastor and all the other individuals who've been a part of that. Gerald Chester, we know, is it's the CDC. Well, there's a lot of CFCDC or whatever, right. Central Florida Community Development Corporation, who has really been instrumental in several businesses starting and development types of projects as well. And he's worked to do that through the city, in addition to other ventures, and working with other partners along the way. So I give him a shout out, because I know, you know, contracting with the city, receiving those, you know, dollars, sometimes they maybe go through a lot of hoops, jump through a lot of hoops for it. And I know he had to go before the city to ask them for, you know, I believe, you know, a continuation of something, and more time for, you know, paying for certain things, monies that they have provided. But it's good that they stepped up and said yes, okay, because he has helped a lot of people, and it's good that you're mentioning him as well. So you've always loved cooking. You've always loved to eat. It's good if you love to eat that you can also cook. My husband doesn't do that, you know. It's not everybody has those two things working together. But it's good to recognize too how things start falling into place, and you see that it's all leading toward one thing, one major thing. You know, that goal that you didn't quite have in the beginning, but ultimately, as you saw things coming together, you realized that this was the direction. And it's really to your credit too, and I'm going to say this, that you actually went back to college, because so many of our business people don't see the need for change, they don't see the need for improvement and the like, and there really is a need for that. Any business person understands that times change, situations change, people's mindsets change, and as a result, you got to stay up with the times. You got to stay up with the times. which doesn't mean that, because there are certain things you don't change, you don't cross the line in terms of, if quality is important to you, then you do what it takes to maintain the quality, to maintain other standings that are in place as well. Now you were sharing, before we came on too, about the many things that you guys are offering, and the times that you're open and all of that. If you would share that information so we don't forget it as we, go along in this overall discussion.
We're open Tuesday through Sunday, 8 to 6 p.m. We offer a all-you-can-eat breakfast, and it's $8. And if you don't have a big enough appetite to eat an $8 breakfast, then we have a one-time large breakfast for $6, and then a small to-go breakfast for $3. We offer on Sundays, we have our soul food Sunday, and that can range anywhere from chitlins to liver and onions. We also offer every other Saturday is our seafood Saturday, where we have blue crab, snow crab, shrimp, and a soul boil.
Our breakfast, if I can intervene, our breakfast consists of eggs, bacon, sausage, grits, toast, sausage gravy, pancakes, hash browns, and corned beef hash. And that's unlimited for the $8. We also have salmon croquette that can be added to any of the prices on the menu for $3. And then we also have an omelet that can be added to any item on the menu for $2. But we also offer fish and grits, liver and grits, pork chops and grits, chicken and grits. So it's truly a Southern style restaurant with soul food. I mean, when we grew up in my house, we might have to get up and eat grits and chicken or some other pork chops with grits. And it's not just a morning dish, it's some people actually prefer that throughout the course of the day. Other things that we offer on our menu, we have a seafood basket, which is tilapia is the fish that we serve, and that comes with shrimp. We also have a shrimp basket. We have two types of burgers. We have a Busy Bee burger, we have a Sunrise burger that comes with an egg, with bacon, with the chipotle sausage mixture to it. We can do a tuna melt. We have turkey, ham, tuna wraps. We have pork chops, shrimp and grits, as she stated. We also have liver and onions. So we have an array. One of the things that we emphasize is, though, that we're a soul food restaurant. So when you come in, we also have a feature. The feature could be lasagna. It may be spaghetti. It may be meatloaf. It may be neck bones. One of the things that we're finding out, though, is a lot of our people of color have decided that we no longer want to be enticed by pork. So a lot of the items that we cook, or everything that we cook with our food, is turkey tails. There's no pork in it. We have turkey sausage, turkey bacon, and we have beef sausage, and then we have the real deal. So what we try to do is accommodate the palate or the diet of everyone. And what we try not to do is cross that. If we're cooking sausage on a flat top, then we'll cook your items separate in a saute pan, because that's your preference. Our thing is, we want the money, but we also want to be able to give good service.
Right, because that's what brings people
service
back.
goes first. I was just being facetious.
Yeah, I know.
But there's a lot of times you can't go to certain places and have them customize their menu to fit what you want. And that's what we're trying to do. FUBU, for us, by us. And that's what we're doing. We're people of color in our own community. And what we're doing is we're specializing in what we want and what we need. And one of the things that we have to let people know is that when they come into our restaurant, our food is cooked fresh. Okay, so the wait period is a little longer than you're normally used to, 10 minutes. but it's cooked fresh. If you come in and say, I like liver and onions, your liver and onions are pulled out of the refrigerator, they're open, they're seasoned, and they're cooked on the spot. So it's not like it's been sitting there for 15 minutes. You order it.
Frozen package and all that
Right,
stuff.
and then
you get in some of these places.
And we have fresh fruit, and we have an array of vegetables. Usually during the week, we have squash, zucchini. Today we have green beans, we have candy yams, we have cabbage, black-eyed peas. We always have rice, mac and cheese. We can cook mashed potatoes on the spot. So, you know, I'm versatile. And the things that we can prepare for what people are looking for. You know, we can do a shrimp Alfredo, we can do a chicken Alfredo, but what we really want to do is cook food that's good for the soul, and like Mama used to.
Yes, yes, but without all that stuff that's not good for you.
Right.
Yeah, because my mom used to make those pork chops and gravy too, you know, and I mean, that was, but I can't eat that stuff now. So I really appreciate the fact that you are looking at the diet and you're looking at, you know, what's healthy for people, and I'm sure Vanessa can speak to some of that, because she's been trying to emphasize to people that, you know, you gotta eat right, you gotta exercise, and we know that one of the major problems we have in America is the obesity problem. And that's not just for the adults, but it's for the kids as well. And I'm having you on the show, but you know, we got enough to go around, so I gotta mention Kiki, and love Kiki's food, and I gotta mention also the Crab House on ISB. Did I get that right?
Yeah, ISB and on Inbound.
Yes, because he would kill me if I didn't, because you know, we go to all those stuff, and so we gotta start coming to yours. You do takeout too, right?
Yes.
We do takeout, we do crawler heads. We do basically what any other, we are a real restaurant.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, you know, the reason I'm glad to be here today is we're emphasizing that in our area, you know, and we can take Vince Carter's restaurant, and excluding that particular restaurant, we're the only other restaurant. I hope I'm not offending anybody. I mean, the Craft Stop is the Craft Stop, but for a place to come in, sit down, and I can kind of say, well, how did you paraphrase it? You said Martin business.
Modern business casual.
Casual, yeah.
Modern business casual.
And
Yes.
we cater to everybody.
And you have a variety of food, so you're not just seafood
No.
as you have at the Crab House. You're not, and Kiki cooks a lot of stuff too, but you have a full variety
Yes, ma'am.
of stuff, just like you say you have at a regular restaurant. And you know, I have to stress too, and then I want you to speak to the healthy part of this, but us got to get away from this thing about, you know, we're not gonna come to your place because you're not cheap. You know what I'm saying? You're good and you're priced right in with others when you go to a good restaurant, but you know, it shouldn't be cheap because food costs.
I mean, well, one of the things that we looked at when we got ready to open up the restaurant was the people that are indigenous of that area, and then the people that would be coming in to that area. And there's nothing on our menu above $12.
Wow.
So it's a very reasonable price
Yes, it
for
is.
what you're getting. And those are the kind of things we want everybody to be able to come in and get a meal. Like we say, you know, food is good for the soul. So it's not just that we want people to come in and eat. We want people to be able to come in and get a spiritual enlightenment while they're doing it. And one of the things that we're really concentrating on at this particular point in time, as far as we're trying to increase our marketing, is to get the church involved.
Yes,
You know, and we really appreciate you giving us a chance to be on the air. But we have to be able to have the churches stand up and say, and I understand that there's some ministers or pastors or reverends that will not stand in the pulpit and say, hey, let's support the black business. But we had Ellen Bethune, and one of the things that she said was, well, we asked for a place that we could go, and we have it, so we have to support it. We have a very nice restaurant. If you check our website, we have a very nice restaurant. I would say that comparable to any other restaurant, that the, can I say the names or?
Well, why give them,
Okay.
that free
Right,
advertising?
but the thing is, if you look at our ambiance, the environment, the cleanness, the quality of our tables, our chairs, we have real marble, granite on our counters, our bathrooms are tiled, our kitchen is open so you can actually see who's cooking your food, how they're preparing it, are they wearing gloves, are they washing their hands. And the thing is, we would ride by and go somewhere else rather than stop and patronize our own restaurant where in our community where we actually want your business and not have to be forced to have somebody wait on you to serve you just because of who we are and the stipulation that okay they're not gonna tip okay so and I'm not asking for people to come in every day. But if you eat out every day and you're us, then we need to support ourselves at least once a week.
Right.
We're in a community where people need help. We're looking to give backpacks, right? To at least some kids in the community that would not be afforded the chance. We have Wi-Fi, we have wireless printing, we have the capability of fax. So, and we're probably going to look at getting a computer because if there's a kid in our neighborhood, in that community, that has a term paper to do, there's no encyclopedia, there's no book of knowledge, okay? So if they don't have a computer at home, we want to at least be able to say, okay, we have a laptop that you can come in, you can utilize to make sure that you're getting the education that you need and you're not feeling bad because it's not that you didn't want to do your work, you just didn't have what it took to do the work. But it takes, what's it? I heard a saying that it doesn't take a community to raise a child. It takes an individual, right? So that's what we have to do. We have to start realizing that Blvd is a great place to come to. It's a great place to eat, but it's our restaurant, and it's where you can come and feel comfortable. The atmosphere makes you feel welcome, and it's personal. We only seat 40 people, and hopefully, faithfully, in the next tomorrow after this, then we'll be slammed. You know what I'm saying? So they'll be waiting in line to get it. But it's good food, it's wholesome food, but it goes deeper than just having a business. And a lot of times I think as individuals, we get caught up in the concept of, well, I work for myself, and that's it. That's not where we're coming from. We're looking at the whole picture. We're looking at if someone's mother gets sick and they need a ride to get to the emergency room, then we'll call a cab and help them get there. If that mother has a diet that she needs and that person's not able to go buy food, then we're looking to be that person. So we have a lot going on as far as our vision of what we have for where we are and what we want to do in our community. We live in our community, we work in our community, we see these. I grew up in Palmetto Parks, 75 Hudson Street. So it's not like I don't have an understanding of what we're doing, but I just feel like we need to support Blvd too. When I say we, I'm saying, it's my understanding there's 52 churches in that area, okay? And what I'm saying is if we could get 3 people every day from each church just to come in and have a meal, that's 150 people, right? That would, but that would keep us afloat, that we wouldn't have to worry about paying our rent, our water bill, our light bill, and all those things, and give us the opportunity to relax, because that's one of the things when you ask me, what's it take to own a business? It's making sure your bills are paid, and then sometimes you have to choose: am I going to pay my home bills, or am I going to take care of my business? So those are decisions that you have to make, and if your business is your love, then something else has to be sacrificed until you get to where you need to be. You need to make sure that you have enough money to invest. Because sometimes you go into an adventure and the capital that you need, you don't have. But then, if God is with you, who can be against you? So, sometimes we walk by faith. It's all about the area of confidence you have in yourself and the inner peace that you have about what you can do and how you can get it done. And it takes a great base, support base, because there will be times when you get weary, you're tired, and that's when you need to have somebody else to say, okay, look, we're going to be all right. We're going to make it, you know. And you go home, you try to get a good night's sleep, but the sun rises in the morning. And one of the things that we've decided to do, that I heard from another gentleman, is he gets up in the morning and he says, you know, what are we going to do today? So we get up in the morning and we say, God, what are we going to do today? And I tell him that 10% of everything that I earn is yours. So if you want 10 cents for the day, that's on you. You know, that's on you. But it just takes, you know, and I know I'm harping on this, but I really need the churches to tell their congregation, the pastors, not tell, suggest that we support Blvd. And not only Blvd, you know, the Crab Stop, Kiki, you know, anybody that's in our community that's doing something positive, let's support that. Because when kids get up in the morning and they see, okay, here's a person that I can relate to, that's there in the morning doing his job, then that gives them an inspiration to say, okay, now I know we can do that. And those are the kind of things that we have to do. I mean, you know, black males, you know, are far and in between. And I'm not saying that we're not all trying to do things positive, but the visual concept for people to see that sometimes is not always where it can be seen. And Blvd is there, where they can, when they go to school in the morning, they're sitting on the flowers. When they come home in the afternoon, Blvd is still open. So they see that. And they may not necessarily come in every day and get something to eat, but it's the concept of, okay, this man's getting up every morning, he's going to work. All right. And then if you have a dream, then, you know, you dream it and you can do it. But you got to believe it, because it gets cloudy sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
It gets cloudy. I'm just...
No, you're sharing some good stuff. You really are. Let me give Vanessa just a minute to say, in terms of eating healthy and the like, because, you know, that's something you hop on as well. Yeah, just pull it down to you.
Yes, eating healthy. That's an advocate of that. I grew up on Whitney Street, 163 in Palmetto Park, right behind the Blvd Cafe. And he grew up on Hudson Street. So we are products of that neighborhood. And I often take my kids down Whitney Street to let them see where I came from, so they can understand that Mom worked really hard with the grace of God and a praying mother to get where she is. And when I was growing up, the nearest fresh fruit or vegetable store was the Pearson on Orange Avenue. And my mom had to walk there, and she would bring back as many fruits and vegetables as she could from there. But for as the only restaurant in that neighborhood, the Blvd Cafe is it, where they can get fresh vegetables and fruit and a good meal. The Crab Stop is nice, but they don't do what they do. Robinson Barbecue is nice, but they don't do what they do. You can sit in that restaurant and get a good, wholesome meal that day. And something was very powerful that I saw last week. There was a gentleman that came in, and he had so much pride, but he was humble too. And he approached Nathaniel Anthony and said, "Can I talk to you? Can you do me a favor?" And he said, "What do you need? Are you hungry? What do you need?" He said, "I just need you to do me a favor." He just couldn't get it out. Finally, he said, "I need to feed my kids." And he said, "I just need to get some diapers. Can you put $5 or something with this $5 I have?" Mr. Chester was there. He got up and gave him $5. This man broke down and cried. It's going to make me cry.
Make all us cry.
He broke down and he cried because he said, "My pride brought me here, and I didn't know how to ask, I said, because you came here and you asked for what you needed and didn't come here and take what you needed, you're more man than any man I've seen today. And he just, took him outside, and Mr. Anthony gave him food, for his daughters, and he had money for Pampers or diapers or whatever. But that's the thing. This restaurant is in a neighborhood that really needs it. Not just to feed it, but to love it. And we, as products of that neighborhood, we need to come back to our neighborhood and give back. If it wasn't for the Dickinson Community Center and Verl McIntyre and Joe Loper, I don't know where I would be. I thank them so much. I'm sorry. They helped save my life. Because I don't know where I would have been. And then I met you. And my mom was a praying mom. I'm sorry. She was a praying mom with 9 kids, And everyone I grew up with in that neighborhood was in my same situation. A single mom with a lot of children. And I promised my mom, and she said all she wanted us to do was get a high school diploma. I said, oh no, Mom, I'm going to be a doctor one day. I'm going to do more than that. And she didn't see me actually do it, but I know she's with me. And when I think about fresh fruit and vegetables, I think about how she went to bed many a nights without eating, and she fed her children because she couldn't have enough food to feed us. And back then, you had to buy your food stamps. You couldn't just go get them. It was 8 cents on the dollar, and you had to go over there by the Frito-Lay, the commodity food, and you had to buy your food stamps. And my mom worked 2 jobs, and I tell my kids, you just don't understand how privileged you are. We're not rich, but my husband and I, Percy Lentz, we work hard and we want our children to understand that education is the way out of poverty. And that's why Mom always said, if you get educated, then you're going to be ahead of the game. And I commend Nathan by going back to school. Absolutely. He wasn't a young man when he made that decision. I tell all my patients, it's never too late to get educated. I learn from my patients every day. And it keeps me grounded and keeps me blessed, because I make sure that my kids are eating healthy. I had to lose a ton of weight to stay healthy, and it was the best decision I made last year. We have to start taking care of our health. You have children, you want to be there for your kids. Feeding yourself is the best way to be around for a long time. Eating your 2 vegetables, 2 fruit and 3 vegetables a day. Get your protein. Stay away from sugar. Is the worst thing you can do. Sugar. Stay away from sugar. Stay away from those carbonated drinks. Stay away from all those carbs, the breads and stuff. You can go to the Blvd like I do, and I get living onions and double collard greens. He said, you don't want any bread? I said, look, no bread. I said, double collard greens, living onions, and I be walking back, skipping. I'm happy because I know I got a good meal, and it's gonna feed my soul. It's gonna be healthy for me, They had the crab boil, and I ate. She said, "What you want, Nessa?" Only certain people call me Nessa. I let them call me Nessa. Nessa was back in the day. I said, I want the shrimp. It was so good, the shrimp, and she respected and remembered that I didn't eat carbs. So she didn't give me, I didn't eat pork, and she didn't give me any sausage. And I was like, thank you, you really heard me when I said I don't eat pork. So, and I don't feed my kids pork. And it's just, it's a place where they will cater to your needs. You will get a good meal. And I've known them for a long time. And I decided, hey, when he said he opened up this restaurant, I asked him, what do you need me to do? What do you need me to do? Because, I have a marketing consulting firm. I do all kinds of things. You need branding, you need help. I sit down with your wife and just give her some pointers, and I'll come back and check on you and see if you did what I said, because that treatment plan, you got to do that treatment plan.
She has. She's been instrumental. She has.
You are not going to ask me for help and don't follow the treatment plan. You got to follow the treatment plan, or see, I'm just like, I'm not going to work harder than you. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. and for a nominal fee, I can help you get on your feet.
We
So,
getting there.
And I want to take a commercial break just to say you listen to Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards, and this is WLE 1380 AM on your radio dial. That's BIG 1380 AM on your radio dial in Ormond Beach, Florida. And the persons that you're listening to are Nathaniel Anthony and Tawana. I'm always remembering that. Tawana Anthony and Dr. Vanessa Harvey-Lents. And we're we're here talking about and talking up the Blvd 2 restaurant, and how important it is that you guys support this restaurant. And we want you to know too, because as we've stated and I've stated, you know, I've got friends like Kiki, and I've got friends like the individual who runs the crab house, and what is it, crab stop,
who grew up in PPU.
Praise God. And we want you to support all of these businesses, and understand this too, that we aren't just talking to our people of color. We're talking to all people who need to support small businesses. Businesses that are starting out, but businesses that do quality work, you know, and all of these people, all the ones I've mentioned, including this one, they provide quality food. And the one we're talking about now, the Blvd 2 restaurant, is a broad-based variety of food that will meet your, not just your palate, but also your particular diet needs. And they will cater to you and provide what you need as an individual to make sure that, you know, because right now I've been dieting myself, and you know, and sometimes you get tired of cooking, and sometimes you want something else, but you want to make sure that it's not something that's going to detract from your weight loss, you know, and that can happen so easily and so quickly. I went crazy eating Sunday, and I've been working for 3 days trying to lose those pounds on Sunday at one of those all-you-can-eat places. But thank God, you're all-you-can-eat. You got some good stuff there, but I don't have to worry about all that, and which I appreciate. Now, what did I mention? I mentioned the thing that my husband loves, those oxtails. You guys do that as well?
I like to see it every day.
I know, but that's kind of hard, yeah.
He's not willing to cook.
And the other thing, it's not good for you every day either, you know. So it's good that it's like every so often, as long as it's every so often that you do it. Because my husband loves him some oxtails, and I get tired of cooking that stuff sometimes, you know. But for people who are getting into business though, so that we don't miss this either, there are places that provide forums. They provide the workshops through SCORE, the Retired Business Executives. Daytona State College has these free classes and things that they provide. There are county, city, and state organizations that will also provide opportunities and at times grants to help. Did you end up, did you go to any of that or obtain any grant assistance that way?
We didn't get any grant assistance, but we actually went through the community's,
Daytona State College?
No, Chester, Joe Chester.
Oh,
when they
yes.
first had that program.
That's right, he does. Yes, yes.
Right. And then it moved to North Street.
No, I believe it's at
Ridgewood. Well, there was two separate programs we went through. We went through one that Chester had on Orange Avenue, and then there was another program that we attended.
I went to Mid-Florida. We went to Mid-Florida Partnership Housing Partnership Program with Lynn and Francine Gordon, and they're on Mason now. But I went through that program in 1997, and we were all in the incubator. It's so funny that we were all in the incubator together on North Street.
Chester's program, the incubator.
No, that's separate.
That's a separate one.
That's Mid-Florida Housing Partnership is separate from Gerald.
Oh wow.
Friends program is different. They had the incubators on North Street where the homeless shelter is.
Yes,
Homeless Coalition.
yes.
She owned both of those sites. Stewart was right there, and she had the incubators in the back. We were in the incubators.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were in the incubators. I had my first business in the incubators in 2003. They were there. They had a construction business, right? And we were there, and I learned so much during that program because it's linked with Bethune-Cookman. Bethune-Cookman Business Department is linked with the Housing Partnership Program, and they do like 6 weeks of teaching you how to start a business from ground up, how to do a business plan. I learned everything.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I opened up how to do a fictitious name, how to get your EIN number, how to pay your taxes, how to open a bank account, how to go to the bank and ask for extended credit, you know. So they taught me a lot about a business.
Is that still in effect?
Yes, it is. And
Yeah.
they're, like I said, they're on, I think it's, their phone number is 386-274-44.
274.
4444, I think it is. But they have they're right on Mason Avenue, and it's Mid Florida Partnership Program. And
Okay.
Francine Gordon is still the director,
Is she?
and Lynn is still there as well. And you can go there, and they have those business classes, and Bethune-Cookman is still linked with them, and they do they go through the classes with you, and they have bankers come in, and they have all kinds of people come in and show you what to do with your business. And right after I finished that class in '97, I opened my business in 2003, my first business, and that's when I knew I could do it. I did my business plan for 5 years. Lynn helped me do that, and it was very successful in 2008 hit. Oh my God. So then I closed the business, and I decided, if I could do this on a small scale, can I do this on a grand scale? And so I went from a small business to a brand business, and that's when I opened Safe Health Services in DeLand, and had doctors and therapists and in 70 days I built a whole business because I was committed and dedicated. And those nights I was there 12 o'clock at night, writing contracts, developing policy and procedures, doing the budget, doing personnel contracts and hiring and calling and marketing and branding. And it was so fulfilling and loving, and that's what I like to do. I like to help people start their businesses, see their vision. You can tell me your vision, I can tell you how to get there. But you gotta have a passion like me. You gotta have a passion. You gotta have it in your heart. Like you're gonna commit. That you're gonna sacrifice sleep sometime to get where you need to get.
And partying and all that other stuff.
You don't have time for that. Don't let the dangling carrot get you. Don't let the dangling carrot get you. If you got a passion, you got a focus, and you got a vision, you stick to it. Stick to it, and you'll be successful.
Yeah, people will look at people who are successful and they feel, they've made it, and I want to be just like that. And they think, you can come from this point to that point without much sacrifice and sweat equity and all of that kind of stuff. But those people had to pay a price to get to where they are. Unless they were born with a golden spoon in their mouth, which doesn't happen to a lot of us. That means that you got to work at it. You got to work at it and not give up. And even when, you're not successful doing something, like you said, don't let one failure or two failures or whatever. What do they say about the guy who invented the electric light? He did it 1,000 times or whatever before he got to where it worked. You just got to keep at it. Just continually keep at it. Who was it? Was it Abe Lincoln or one of the guys who became president? He ran, I don't know how many times before he ever won, So you just have to love it enough, like you said, love it enough, be passionate enough about it, and dedicate it, and stick with it.
Absolutely.
Be committed and stick with it.
And you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of times that your friends,
and even family,
won't have that passion or see the desire or say it can't be done. But we went to the moon and they said it couldn't be done.
Some people still don't believe it.
We went to the moon.
I'm just gonna tell the truth. There's
Conspiracy
some people.
theories. Oh my God. The flag should be blowing. Yes, really? Are you gonna really take us there to the moon with the flag?
Well, look at the airplane.
Yeah.
We fly.
Yeah.
But that was somebody that just, like you said, had to have a belief in themselves. And no matter how much criticism they took that I'm going to build a machine that can travel through the air, they continued to do that. So when you have a dream and people don't see your dream, as long as you can see it, then that's all that really matters. And you have to stay focused on your dream. Because if you turn to the left or turn to the right and
Aim
get
and
discouraged, it disappears.
And one thing I know too is you can't tell everybody
Your dream.
because there are dream killers.
Dream killers,
You know,
or dream snatchers.
Yeah.
Can't get pearls to a swine.
See, people will take your dream and they will be successful with your dream, and you'll be like, why did I allow that to happen to myself? And it's a hard lesson to learn, because I learned that lesson. You know, you build something and then someone takes it from you, and you have to say, if I did it one time, 2 times, I can do it again. And that's, you know, that's where I am right now. I'm reinventing myself again. And you're never too old to reinvent yourself. As long as you live, and you can still reinvent yourself. And that's where I'm doing what I'm doing now. You know, and you know, I just hope I'm a role model to my kids and anybody I come in contact with, because that's what I want to be. I want to be able to help people. Sometimes I get paid, sometimes I don't. I tell people I'm gonna get my wings somehow. There's not gonna be no chicken wing either.
The handstand for you.
That was to you. Look, that was to you, Nate. Ain't gonna be no chicken wing either.
But you guys you're all 3 role models. And there are, just like you mentioned, there are young men and there are young ladies who are looking at you and watching what you've been able to accomplish and saying to themselves, you know, I can do that. Just like, you know, the president who became president, who knew, you know, it would be this soon. I thought I'd die before that ever happened. But it happened, you know. Not only did he win once, he won twice, you know. And for as much, and I'm going to say it, hell, as he's going through, and my husband keeps saying there must be a God on his side.
Got to be.
But understand that when you get up there, and we never fully arrive, but when you get to a point where you're up there, there are always going to be people who are going to use you for target practice. You know, there are always people who are going to try to use you as an example and find something about you that they can use to, you know, try to pull you back and pull you down and not allow you to be the positive role model that you are. That's why it's so key and so important that we understand that whatever our position is that God has blessed us with, we need to be the best at it and not allow others to cause us to fail. You know, because we control that. We control that, you know, whether we fail. And if we fall, we got to know that we can get up. We can always get up. That's the difference between, you know, as they say, that's what makes a person truly a saint, because they don't just stay falling.
That's right.
They get back up. They get back up. Amen. Amen. So I'm really happy to hear about your going back to college, about all the different things that you've stated that you were willing to do, and the jobs that you did that helped. And you know, my older son always says that whatever he's going through, he came to realize that all of that was God allowing him to have the experience that when he got to where he wanted him to have, all that experience helped. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly, it all helped, you know, to make you that person that you needed to be successful where you are. And all that stuff that you've shared really and truly did help in terms of where you are and what you're doing. And thank you for correcting me on you being a cook and all that kind of stuff. 'Cause I didn't fully read the article, but it was impressive with the mere fact that all of the ink that they used to talk about your picture and everything else. I mean, that is awesome. It is awesome. And it's just as awesome that I think one of the things that we as people of color do and see as very important, because our parents tell us that, and that's to give back. To give back. That you don't become a success for yourself or by yourself, you know. And as a result, it's important to reach back and help somebody else up. And it's not a matter of giving handouts, but giving hand-ups. You know, I don't believe in handouts, but I do believe in hand-ups. So that, as they say about giving a person fish or teaching them to fish, it's more important that they learn to fish. Now, in the meantime, they need a meal. Okay, right.
A busy beach.
But don't.
Most definitely.
Amen. Where everybody is somebody in a place, anybody can enjoy a pleasant dining experience, no matter who they are.
Wonderful, awesome. Now, is that already on your marquee or whatever? And you gotta put it there, huh? Yeah.
It will be.
Now, in your closing comments, and I'm going to ask each of you to just share something as we close out. And we need to include information as to if someone wanted to call in or whatever, if there is a website, if you would just share that information with them too, so that they can, take advantage of these delicacies that are there, and these things that are good for the palate, but also good for your diets as well. I'll start with you, Vanessa, so you can.
Oh, okay. You can reach me many places now. I do practice in Port Orange at Northeast Florida Psychiatric Association with Dr. Gary Frick at 790 Dunlawton Avenue, Suite J in Port Orange, Florida. You can reach me at 386-767-8584 if you need to have an assessment for a psychiatric evaluation and medication management. You can get an appointment with Dr. Gary Frick. If you need any therapy for any addictive behaviors, you can get in touch with me, Dr. Vanessa Harvey-Lents.
All right.
And you can call in your takeout or your call ahead meal at 386-256-5222, and we're located at 456 South Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard in Daytona Beach.
Okay, wonderful. And that's for your call-in. I'm writing this down so I can put on the YouTube thing information, but also so I can call in and order something too. Tell Pastor to stop by there on your way home. Your closing comments, Nathaniel.
I just want to, thank God once again. Thank my wife. Thank Vanessa. Thank my pastor. Thank Chester. And thank you. And we just ask that, we're already giving thanks for the people that the listeners are hearing our voice, that it continues to multiply, and that that Busy Bee 2 will not just be Busy Bee 2, but Busy Bee 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 down the road. But everything has to start at one point.
Right.
And that's where we are right now. And we're just putting all our love and effort into this baby, and it's going to give birth, and then we're going to go on. But we just need to stay and support each other and make sure that the things that we have within our community stays there. There's a lot of development and things that are in play in our area, off of Orange Avenue and MLK. So let's not lose the spots that we have.
Right.
Let's hold on to them and make sure that as the city grows, so do we as far as business entrepreneurs in our own community.
Absolutely, amen. And again, Busy Bee 2 restaurant at 456 South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard solicits your support, the churches and all people, because we do need to support one another. And as we support one another, and that's what God wants us to do. I bring the Christian element into it. And as we support one another, we're blessed. We're blessed by that to be able to do even more. So again, we encourage all of you to support the community efforts, to support the community businesses, and definitely make sure that you're doing what's healthy for you and for your family as well. Well, thank you to all of you. Thank you for joining us with the Truth Radio Show. Remember to join us every Thursday, starting at 6:15. It looks like about 6:20 now, as we discuss issues to inform and empower your listeners. Be sure to go to the website, www.gwen-truth.com. Until next time, be informed, be empowered, and stand tall always for that which is right and truthful. Again, this is Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. And my guests again from the Busy Bee 2 restaurant, Nathaniel Anthony and Tawana Anthony. And of course, our almost regular Dr. Vanessa Harvey-Lents, our psychologist. You guys be blessed and have a great weekend.
Truth with your host, Gwen Azama-Edwards, exclusively every Thursday night on WELE 1380 Radio, Daytona Beach, Florida.
I didn't even make nobody cry. I just
Yes, you did.